then one more thing. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming today to our first ever new advisor development program. We are excited that you're here. One of the things that we want to talk about today is like how did we get here and why we got here is how we're going to that we know that we have to continue to support you in this manner, right? You're going to meet my colleague Ryan Martin, who is also a chapter outreach and development coordinator, and also with us today is Reagan Chastain, who is our curriculum designer for Phi Theta Kappa. All three of us have served as advisors before coming on headquarters staff. You'll hear a little bit more about our journey and how we know how you're feeling as a brand new advisor. So thank you for joining us. And for those who could not join us today and will be viewing this recording at a later time, please feel free to reach out to Ryan or myself if you have any questions or you would like to discuss further any of the resources or anything that we talked about today. So the new advisor program, before we go, I just want to give you a little heads up to all of this. We can't possibly fit every little thing that happens in a year into one session. So we are spreading it out, and I think most of you have seen the schedule. And we are also going to try to align it with our other chapter advisors and leaders sessions that we have been doing for the past year that are specific on student engagement and engaging in the society's programs, right? And so we'll talk a little bit more about that. But this program is definitely designed for the new advisor under 2 years of service. We will look at things and bring in experts like on June 29th, we're going to talk about membership and recruitment. So we'll bring in members of the membership department in to talk to you about how to get that file ready and what to look for and how to upload it and that whole process and what that looks like. Later on in the summer, we'll talk about the different programs that we engage in. But the most part for today, we're just really going to look at how we can make you feel more comfortable and know that everybody feels this way when they start as an advisor, whether they're voluntold, whether they have known nothing about it or just a little bit, and why we believe that advisors are the most important part of Phi Theta Kappa, because you are our connection to the students and our members, and how we as a former advisor miss having those opportunities to work with students. So again, thanks for being with us. Again, here's Ryan. Ryan, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Ryan Martin. Like Patty said, I'm one of the chapter outreach and development coordinators, and I work with divisions 3 and 4. I live in Arizona, so it's a beautiful blue, sunny day right now. No humidity. I don't have to worry about that too much out here. And I used to be a chapter advisor for about 10 years, and then I was regional coordinator for a year. So, and then I came on as staff with PTK headquarters, and I work with Patty and then the whole student engagement team. So we're just super excited to be here with you all. And, you know, this program that we're rolling out today is super important to all the new advisors that's coming on board, because sometimes you just don't know what to do. And this is giving you kind of that one-on-one feel to help you out with some of the questions you may have. And hopefully at the end of our series that we do answer some of those questions for you.
Great. Thanks, Ryan. And I served as an advisor for 10 years and then also a regional coordinator for the Middle States until I came on staff a year and a half ago. And Ryan and I were both hired for this purpose, right? Working with chapter advisors, right? There wasn't really like this whole thing about new or how long you've been. We came on right at the height of the pandemic, and a lot of you that have started as an advisor, one of the things that we saw, and I lovingly call all new advisors under 2 years of service my pandemic crew, because they all came on brand new during the pandemic, right? We had a lot of seasoned, we call them seasoned or more experienced advisors retire. Therefore we had a lot of new advisors coming on. And a lot of the things that we did as far as development of advisors used to happen in person or at regional events and also at Catalyst. And we'll talk about that. If you're hearing words that sound like Greek to you, don't worry. We're going to talk about the alphabet soup of Phi Theta Kappa in a little bit. But that's when we would do the development, right? And we found, 6 months into our tenure at Phi Theta Kappa that we needed to have these Zoom sessions. Are they the best thing? It's the best of what we can do right now, and I think they are extremely helpful. It also gives you a connection to Phi Theta Kappa on the international level, and to know that you are not alone. I know with my experience, my first year as an advisor, I was an alumni member, so I couldn't figure out a lot of the things like uploading that file and how are those invitations, and the scholarships and all of that, and how do we get my chapter, which was not very active at the time, right? How do we do this, right? But you just take it bits at a time. And what we have found is if we get an advisor to really engage in it the first year or two, by the third year you're feeling pretty comfortable and you're going to start looking at things, in your own way. We want you to look at things in your own way. You may have replaced an advisor at your college that has served for 25, 30, 40 years, and they've done things a certain way and they were successful at it, and that's really phenomenal. We want you to do it your way. This is your time to serve as the advisor, your time to be the student success champion on campus. There's no right way or wrong way. It's just whatever you're comfortable in doing and making sure that you get the support that you need from all of us. So, Ryan.
All right. So, like the title says, advisors are amazing. So, over your time while you're at your job, you are juggling so many responsibilities as a higher education professional. So, whether that's, your everyday job, whether you're faculty, whether you're student services staff, whether you're administration, you're putting on so many different hats. And then you put on another hat of being an advisor for Phi Theta Kappa for your chapter. And we know that many of you serve in this role as an advisor without any additional pay or release time. Trust me, we know. Phi Theta Kappa could never, ever put a price tag on what our advisors mean to us, and even more importantly, what you mean to our chapter members. So thank you for serving as a PTK advisor. We want to say that. Thank you for volunteering your time and giving back to our students in a different way, because in your everyday job, you do that. But thank you for putting on this hat as an advisor. Like Patty said earlier, we are here to support you. And that's not just Patty and myself, that's the whole student engagement team. We are here to support you in whatever you need to make it a rewarding journey.
Great. And we also totally believe, 100%, we say this often in our social media and our advisor Facebook group that we have that's just for advisors, that you are our student success champions. And it's true, right? You are that person who, engages the members to get the most out of their benefits and opportunities of membership, right? And what you're seeing here is a group of outstanding scholarship winners from across the country from, I think, maybe 2019, right? And I know 3 of them really well, and I knew them prior to them getting really engaged into Phi Theta Kappa, and all 3 of them, and I'm sure all of them would say the reason why they're standing there with that All USA medallion is because their advisor invested time, right? Encouraged them, led them to be where they are today, to find those scholarships to move on to a university, to take engage in the professional development courses that we have for them, to do better in their soft skills and transferring and all of that, right? The advisor is the anchor. It's the person that always there. And one of the responses that I read was like, I'm really worried that once I get a really active chapter, they all graduate. That's the other side of being an advisor. You'll get a really great team and you'll have a phenomenal year, and graduation is coming and you're excited that they're getting ready to move on, but you're thinking to yourself, I don't want them to go. I'm just getting a really good chapter together. But that's the life cycle of an advisor, right? It's encyclical. Just you are the constant, you are the anchor, you are the rock, you are the coach, right? Let's talk a little bit here about coaching versus doing. That's your job. Your job as an advisor is to coach your students into engaging in all those programs to build that strong chapter. It's not for you to do. You're the liaison between them and the college administration, the liaison between them and the community. Maybe they're doing a service project with the community. You are making sure that they are not breaking any rules and knocking on the college president's door without an invitation, right? So you are all those things. You are the letter of recommendation writer. You will write tons of them. I still get requests from students from way back that want me to write them a letter because they served as an officer for me. But there is no greater feeling to see them, whether they're an award winner, whether they've been able to earn a scholarship. But you will see in some of your quietest students that wouldn't come to a meeting because of your coaching, because of your care, because of your philosophy of student success, that they have changed, they've grown, they've engaged a little bit more than what they would have said they would have done in the beginning, and you are proud, and every advisor is proud for the little things and the big things, and our job is just to help you connect with all of those and making sure that you are confident in sharing all of the benefits of Phi Theta Kappa membership with your students, right? And it is a balance, just like Steven Spielberg says, it's a balance of mentoring someone and not creating them in your own likeness, but in of their own. And that's what this is. It's just a coaching position. It's not doing. There are things you will need to do as an advisor, but it's not the work that they're doing. So let's take a look at our agenda today real quick, just so you know. We've broken it down into 3 kind of focus areas: learn, lead, and impact, right? And we do the same focus with our chapter officers that we did an orientation for 2 weeks ago. So we'll take a brief look at the history of Phi Theta Kappa. I'll introduce you to some of our staff and get you to understand the regional leadership. You are a chapter advisor, and we'll talk more about that. That's connected to a region, that's connected to a division. And we'll talk about alphabet soup, because I remember that my first days of being an advisor, even though I was alumni, they were throwing all these different terminologies at me that I was like, wait a minute, this is overload. So we'll talk about that. And then we'll take a look at ptk.org, right? What its purpose is, how you access it, where to find things, give you some best practices on getting comfortable with that. We're also going to give you some resources that you can look at between now and the next time we meet, so that maybe you'll come into the next session with some questions. And we feel that these 2 resources are really important to the success of an advisor and also a chapter. And then also talk about your impact as an advisor. This is just one part of it. Meeting with us or watching these videos when we have these sessions. The other part of it is also the 5-star advisor curriculum that also has a wonderful self-paced program that you get to learn more about it, and we'll talk about that a little later. So let's get started. Ryan, right? You're talking about history.
Right. So with Phi Theta Kappa, for some of you who do not know, Phi Theta Kappa has been around for 100+ years. So we are 100+ years strong. That's over 3.5 million members throughout those 104 years. It's been 104, I think.
Yeah.
And then there are over 1,250 chapters worldwide, not just in the United States, but worldwide. And then there's 4 divisions. So when you heard Patty and I talk about the divisions that we work with, for some of you, you might be in the Division 1 or Division 2, which is kind of that southern region. Division 3 is kind of the Midwest, and Division 4 is kind of west. And you can see that on the map. There's 29 regions, which is awesome and amazing. So some of you might be in one region that is just by itself, like Arizona region is just one region. And then the middle states, it consists of a whole bunch of different states within the middle states. And then like for Texas, Texas is a region on its own. So those are just some to name. And then annually, you all get members to join, and over 130,000 members are inducted annually each year. So one cool thing that Patty and I started, and Patty has the little icon on the PowerPoint, is kind of like the self-help. Here's where you can learn more. So when Patty sends this recording out and sends the PowerPoint out to you all, you'll be able to click on these links and where it says learn more about Phi Theta Kappa or PTK. And then it'll also pop up the divisional map for those who don't know which division you're in or which region you belong to. And then when you click on that, that might be on the next one, but you'll be able to click on your actual region. If you don't know who your regional coordinator is, you'll be able to click on that region and see who your regional coordinator is, and also when the regional events happen. Okay, Patty, go to the next
Yeah,
one.
and that learn more about PTK is a video. It's about 20 minutes. I wish we had 20 minutes to spare today. It's the 100th anniversary video that was done, and it's really interesting, and it tells the history. And if you have 20 minutes sometime before you go to the beach or whatever you're doing this summer, take a look at it. It's really interesting. And then also the divisional map.
Mhm.
One of the things that when we talk about, is this you? This is you, Ryan. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think it's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of the things when we talk about the different divisions and the different regions, for those who are new, we have international officers, and those international officers consist of our international president. Then there's a vice president for each division. And this year we had a historic election that happened, and we now have co-international presidents, which is super awesome and amazing. One thing that I tell all regions that I've been working with is make sure you reach out to your international officers, email them, connect with them on Facebook or Instagram. They love asking or answering questions. They are there to serve you. They are servant leaders, and they want to be there for you and help you, your chapter, and your region in any way that they can. So you can see that we have Division 1 through 4 of our vice presidents, and then our two co-international presidents this year, which is really, really awesome. You can get to know them. You'll see them a lot on Facebook. They had their first meeting yesterday. They're in headquarters right now doing their international officer training. So you'll see them a lot on social media this week coming up on the things that they're doing in Jackson, Mississippi.
This international officer team, and every year, international officer teams are elected at our yearly convention, which is known as Catalyst. Catalyst this past year was held in Denver, Colorado. It was pretty awesome. Our next Catalyst, excuse me, will be held in Columbus, Ohio. And we'll talk more about that later, but it's a gathering of all regions, all chapters. It's where we party and get recognized for the work that we've done throughout the year, and also elect our new student leadership team. So we're really excited for this new international officer team. And as an advisor, you might get a note at the end of the year saying, hey, I want to know more about becoming an international officer. That's something that does happen. I was fortunate. It's happened to me once as an advisor, and it worked out well. And it was like the pinnacle of, the pinnacle of my time as an advisor to have one of my students serve as the international president. And so you may have that, but we'll talk about other levels of leadership that are available in Phi Theta Kappa. So we wish our team really well, and you get to learn more about them.
Okay, and then another kind of special thing you all have for those who send in the updated list of eligible students to Phi Theta Kappa, you have a division specialist who is there for all your membership questions and concerns. Again, because you are separated into different divisions based on the region that you're in, you can be in Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, or Division 4. They are your go-to person when you have questions about uploading students. If you have a transfer student who's coming to your college and would like to be a part of your chapter, how to do like recruitment campaigns. They are there for you all when you have those different questions. They're the ones that they're there to help you at any time. So their emails are here, and again, this will be emailed out to you, so you'll have their email at hand. And I hope that I know that you all have been here either 2 years or less, and some people it could be a week, a month, but I hope that you received an email from them and getting to know them, and you've had some type of conversation with them, because they're there to help you just as much as we are.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Speaking about enrollments, one of the things that we're going to talk about, when we talk a little bit later on about the recruitment effort, right now we are in each year, Phi Theta Kappa chapters have 3 enrollment periods, right? One is in the spring, it's January 1st. It ends on May 31st, so yesterday would have been that period. The second period is the summer enrollment. Some chapters opt into it, some do not. You don't need to be on campus to do. If you're not on campus in the summer, it can run, automatically, by itself without you having to be on campus. And that runs June 1st to August 31st, right? And then the fall enrollment starts September 1st and runs to December 31st. And so the reason why I bring this up now is that if you're not planning to do one in the summer, that's fine. But you'll be able to, through all of these sessions that we'll do, and you'll be able to be comfortable for when you get ready to upload that file in the fall for your fall enrollment, right? The other thing that I wanted to say is, as it relates to another program that's tied into it, every chapter is required to do 2 enrollments. So usually most chapters do the spring and the fall in a year. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. But Monica, Tiffany, Paige, and Christopher are there to assist you with all of your enrollment membership needs, like Ryan said. So I have you have a question, Patrice?
Oh, I have so many questions. Hi. Are these the people, we know Christopher because he's ours and he's been helping us, but are these the people we can ask for a list of who the PTK people were before we ever existed? Because we have a black hole. We have no idea who is actually a PTK member besides sort of intuiting it from other sources. Does that make sense?
It
Can we
does.
get that list?
We could definitely get you a list of members. You can do that through the portal, and we'll show you that in a little bit. I don't know how many years it goes back. I can't answer that question, but if you needed a more detailed report, we could definitely get it to you. 2 years? Oh yeah, we can do 2 years. That's easy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, this is Regina Durrani.
Hi, Regina.
So I was in the portal. Hi, I was in the portal the other day, and I was trying to do a search to filter exactly what. I'm sorry, I don't know who the woman was who was asking me.
Patrice. Mm-hmm.
Patrice. Okay, so I was doing the same thing. I wanted to filter those who are active, those who are eligible through 25 or 26, and those who are alumni. And the system doesn't let me differentiate between them. I have to do it through my registrar. So I do membership 3 times. I just came on in January.
Yay! Congratulations.
Thanks. Thank you. So I do membership 3 times a year, and I coordinate with my registrar as to who's eligible.
Mm-hmm.
But there isn't a way on the website that I could see how to filter who's an alumni and who is still active and who's not.
Right. So there's a process, and definitely you want to get connected to. I don't want to misspeak because it's not my forte, or do I know every little thing about the portal as it relates to that. There is a process where when you know someone has graduated, that you update their record as being an alumni, and then that creates an alumni roster and a member roster. So again, if you haven't been able, if that hasn't been done in a couple of years, that's why it's going to be a little bit off. But I promise you that your divisional specialist will be able to provide you with the details on how to do that, and also provide you with a list of. You could what I used to do was pull a list from the registrar of who was graduating, and then I would go in and update them as alumni, and this way it would go to the alumni roster, and this way I wouldn't be pulling those that had already graduated.
Right, thank you. I know Tiffany is our division.
Yeah,
Coordinator.
Tiffany's awesome. Yeah.
But part of the issue is, so I just came on in January, and Matthew Walker is the other co-sponsor on the college.
Mm-hmm.
And we do not get the same communication. We do not have the same privileges on the website. He's down as the person for communications.
Okay, so I'm glad you're bringing that up, because this would be a good time to talk about that, right? So as advisors, and I probably should have said this in the beginning, but advisors are advisors are advisors. And as far as the portal is concerned, right? Contact advisors are the communication. They are the CADV. They are the ones who are, they are and every chapter has one. And primarily all of the communication does go to the contacted advisor, and we hope that they share it with the rest of the advisors. There's no ranking, amongst that, whether you're a contact advisor or an advisor, right? You should have the same access to the portal. The contact advisor is responsible for the financials of the chapter, completing the annual report, but I think those are the only two things that they really have, leadership on as far as that's concerned. And they're the ones that get all the emails, right? There are times, especially with the student engagement team, that we will email advisors, all advisors, whether you're a contact advisor or an advisor. It's just, that's how it's been for the history of advisors. It always goes to one person with the hopes that they share the information or the email with their co-advisors. A lot of what is done or what is sent is posted in the news section on the website, so that you can go and see it. And you can always contact us, and we can forward any important notices that you would need to know. But there are certain things that the contact advisor serve at, they are the liaison between the college and PTK, and that's the finances, and it could be registering, and I think any advisor can register for an event, and that was my knowledge of it. But again, I can get definite information on that, but you should have the same access as your contact advisor.
All right, thanks. I'll follow up about purging the list between alumni and active students, and then resending invites following up. Thank you. And I'm perfectly fine. Matthew's the contact, and I'm perfectly fine with him doing all the reports. All of that.
Yes.
He and I have a wonderful system worked out where our skill sets do not overlap.
Very good. That's a great way to have it.
Yes, I'm very happy with what he does, and he's very happy that I do what I do. So we seem to be a very good team.
That is awesome. Awesome, Regina. That's great. That's great. Continue that. And kudos to Matt, too. We'll have to send him a kudos check. So to continue on, the student engagement team is the team that Ryan and I are a part of. We work with all of the programming and getting folks to engage in society programs so that students have access to opportunities and benefits. For those that have been around for 2 years, I know you know that Dr. Blake Ellis is the Chief Engagement Officer. His name isn't listed here. He's our boss. Don't tell him I didn't put his name on here. He might get a little upset. But anyway, he's the lead Chief Engagement Officer for Phi Theta Kappa. We have Susan Edwards, also a former advisor out of the Texas region. She's been with Phi Theta Kappa for a little over 15 years. She's our Associate Vice President of Honors Programs and Undergraduate Research. Anytime you hear honors in action, honors program, any of those things, that's Susan. And Susan always makes herself available to answer questions when advisors have them about that. And hopefully later on in the summer, we'll have an opportunity to sit with Susan, and she can tell you all about honors programming. Jennifer Stanford is our Associate Vice President of Program Implementation. Anything that's new or anything that changes within our programs, that's Jennifer. Jennifer also works with our International Officer Candidate Program, the Hallmark Award system. There's so many things that she does. She's been with Phi Theta Kappa, I think pushing 25 years, but she's been around for a while. Reagan, I introduced you to Reagan. She's our curriculum designer. She puts all of our professional development courses together, and she's working on another one. Shh, we're not saying, what's all we can say. But it's going to be really fantastic. But she works with all of us on staff and helps us, get our programs together quite like this one, all of our PowerPoints and things like that. And she's a former chapter advisor, has been on staff, I think, going on 3 years, right, Reagan, I think? And then you have Brian and I, and we work with chapters trying to help you all in whether it's meeting with you to help you get the resources that you need, or maybe it's reactivating your chapter, giving you some advice, meeting with your chapter. Ryan and I on several occasions will meet with a chapter during their officer meetings or chapter meetings and help them with ideas that they have or just feedback. So we do all of those things. There's really not too much of anything that we won't do as it relates to making sure that you have everything you need to do to build that chapter and feel better about, the things that your chapter is doing, right? So along with all of that leadership that happens on the international level, we have regional leadership, right? Is this me, Ryan? I think it's me. I'm losing track.
Thank you.
Okay. Regional leadership is quite outstanding. It was one of my favorite parts about Phi Theta Kappa, because you are a chapter that belongs to a region, and those regions serve as the local headquarters, if you will. I got it in air quotes of Phi Theta Kappa, right? They are led by 29 outstanding regional coordinators who are also advisors, right? That's where our regional coordinators come from. They are or have been serving as an advisor. They provide the regional leadership, right? Every region has a regional officer team, right? So just like the international officers, we have a regional officer team. And their job on the regional level is to provide the leadership to the chapters, right? Connecting with the members in the region in whatever they're doing, whether it's a regional project or getting everybody to engage in things like the 5-star program or the professional development courses, right? So you have that regional leadership that's really there to support you too. They also will have events which are really important, like summer learning. I know a lot of regions are doing summer learning or have plans for it. I know Texas does. Texas is inviting advisors from all across the country if they'd like to go to their regional leadership event. These events are outstanding for new advisors as well, because you get to see the bigger picture, right? You might not get to Catalyst right away, not until April next year, but if you get in touch with the regional leadership, they will be able to help you too as well. You will find if advisors are changing across the country, that means regions advisors are changing across the country. And so it's a really good idea to get connected with your regional coordinator. I put the links at the bottom for you to get to the directory, and I'm going to show you more about that in a minute. There's also a regional coordinator directory, and then regional meetings. Like, find out when their meetings are. A lot of over the last 2 years, I will say that a lot of them have been virtual. Some are doing hybrids. It seems to me that this summer a lot are doing in person. A few are still doing virtual only. But you'll be able to find the dates and what's going on and how to get connected and register for those. In the fall, almost every region does get together for some sort of a conference, whether they call it a leadership conference or an honors and action conference. But that's another time for you to, connect with the region. There's usually advisor meetings. You get to learn more about what's going on in the region. They also bring a headquarters updates. Occasionally, a staff member from Phi Theta Kappa will attend these events, and you get to connect with them. It's super, super important for you to get connected to the region because it just broadens your experience as an advisor. It broadens the experience of your students, right? I remember being an advisor and I would take students to their first regional event, and I was in the middle states, right? So we were Maryland, Delaware, Washington, and Pennsylvania. I was an advisor for a Delaware chapter, and I would take them to a regional event. It would be in New Jersey or Maryland. It would be the first time that that student had ever left the state of Delaware, and you hear that all across the country, right? It's an opportunity for them to network, right? That's why they're really important. They also will learn about regional leadership as far as becoming a regional officer, right? Because regional officers serve for a one-year term, and at every convention in the spring, there's a new regional officer team elected at these. And so I do want to spend 1 second on regional officer leadership because we started last year. We're going to continue it this year. Regional officers are provided benefits from their regions for serving in this role, but one of them is a trip to Jackson, Mississippi, right? To do some more intense learning about leadership and getting to meet all the headquarters staff, and also seeing the Center for Excellence. If you have never been to the Center for Excellence of Jackson, Mississippi, if you happen to be going that way, you have to stop in. You have to stop and see it. It's just it's an amazing facility, and it's where it all begins, right? Where it all takes place. So that's why it's important to get in touch with the region. Is this me or you?
It's both of us.
Yeah. So Ryan, yeah, you'll start. Go ahead.
So with alphabet soup, it's kind of, we hear all of these different acronyms. So we decided to call it alphabet soup because it sounds a little better than acronyms, of words and letters. And you're like, what are they talking about? So there is a glossary that helps with some of this, but we also want to let you know that, we are here to help explain what these are and for you to get more acquainted with them. You'll see in this slide, you'll see the 4 hallmarks of Phi Theta Kappa. So it's leadership, scholarship, service, and fellowship. Those are already in here. But then you see like induction. You see catalyst. Patty talked about that a little bit earlier. Like we were just in Denver in April. We're going to be in Columbus next April. You see on here 5-star. You're going to hear a lot of that from Patty and I when we're talking about 5-star. You see PTK Edge, you see Reach, and again, there's the little icon about how to learn more. So you'll be able to click on there, and it's going to be advisor FAQs. It's going to talk to you more about the Reach rewards, and how do you get to that, and how you get that reward. And then PTK edges. So Reagan can answer all questions PTK edge, but we're going to talk a little bit about that too. And then this way, you can get a little acquainted with some of the words that we're spewing out to you. So you're just not like, what are they talking about? And you're writing it down and probably have a question mark next to it. Like, what does this mean? Like HIA or CP. We should really be saying honors in action, our college project, but we've been doing it so long, we just say HIA, college project, or CP, or we abbreviate something. So we want to make sure that you all understand what we're saying. So we'll be going over a lot of it, not just today, but throughout the whole series.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is too is I'm and you could put your responses in the chat, or you could just call them out. I mean, if you've never had any inkling of Phi Theta Kappa, and you go, okay, I know this society's 4 hallmarks and what they're based on and their mission statement is, but like, what is this? What's the difference between an induction and an orientation, right? When do I have to do these things? And this just sounds like an awful lot. And hallmarks and awards and, I just want to be able to get them to the scholarship, right? I just want them to be able to, do a service project on campus, right? And it does get to be overwhelming listening to all this terminology and like Ryan said, there is a glossary, and don't let this weigh heavy on you that there's all this terminology. We'll get through it. There are times where I'll even pick up something new from another advisor from after talking to them. Okay, that's really good, right? Don't let it overwhelm you. Don't let the terminology overwhelm you. Don't let it keep you from learning more. Don't let it be that it's a lot, right? Because each of these things, although they are connected, they have a specific purpose, and you'll see as you move along as an advisor, right? And the other thing that I wanted to say, there are things that your chapter may or may not want to do, and that's fine because you're setting the pace, right? And so always keep that in mind. We will encourage you to be a 5-star chapter. We will encourage you to be a 5-star advisor. We will encourage all of your members to be 5-star members, right? So in that thing with 5-star, that's related to 3 different programs that we have. But know that all of this is at your pace too. So, before we go on any further, we're going to talk about, is this me, Brian, or is this you?
This one's you.
It's
This
me.
is all you.
We're going to talk about the portal, right? It's called a portal. Website portal, advisor portal, whatever you want to, we all go. This is our headquarters for everything Phi Theta Kappa, right? It's been this has been a year since we've gone to this marketing plan and the way that it's looked, and it's just really forward facing to members, right? Or potential members. And so you can find all the information that you need about Phi Theta Kappa. You'll find everything you need to know about your chapter. We'll take a look at everything that you need related to advisor tools, because everything that we're talking about today, there's a link for that. There's a resource for that. I promise you. It's just finding it, right? And that's the tricky part. So we'll show you a little bit on how to take a look at those 2 things. Programs, there's a section for programs. We are not going to dive into a lot of the programs right now. This is just focusing on the portal and the dashboard and making you comfortable in finding those resources. But to know that your access to the portal is different from your students, right? They cannot see the advisor resources or access anything that's for, programs that are for the advisor. They have a different view of what they can see. They can see programs, they can see things that are important to them, but they cannot see what you see, right? As staff members, we see different things. We pretty much have the same portal, but and we're able to share links to that. So if you have a question and say, Patty, where do I find this? Just let us know. We'll send you the link, right? We can help you with that. So let's take a look at the sections, right? So you have an advisor landing page. So I know some of you, and in a minute or two, we are actually going to open up the portal and we'll go through a couple of things. But this is the advisor landing page. It may or may not look, I know some of you have a dashboard that looks different, and we'll talk about that as well. But the advisor landing page includes everything you need to know about the membership campaign, reporting new officers, anything to do with planning your induction, and much more, right? So that whole piece, as you see in the green area, is everything related to your chapter. So it's, accessing the new dashboard. It's, what's the profile of your chapter, and you will only get the information for your chapter. If you are an advisor that's serving for 2 different chapters, you'll have access to 2 different profiles, right? But you just have to let us know. It's just all that you can see is what is at your chapter. This is where you would pull your upload your eligible students, also get information to us about your induction and orientation, right? So that when we automatically send out those invitations, that information is plugged in, and it just pulls it from that, and those invitations are sent with that information. And then the last section of that, as it relates to your chapter, is the rosters, right? The active members and also the alumni rosters, and we'll take a look at that in a second. But everything is here in the green section that's related to the chapter. So all those chapter functions, those chapter operations are listed there. And I should have put the slide. So profile, contact information, the financials, how to report officers, so all of that, and we'll just go skip to the next one, right? Advisor tools, right? I love this quote from Bob Ross because it's true, right? All you need to paint is a few tools, a little instruction, and a vision in your mind, right? So your vision of how you want to run your chapter and what you want to include is up to you, right? Totally up to you. We are giving you all that you need. If there's something that's missing, we want you to let us know and we can help you with that. And that's what these sessions are going to help us do. In the advisor tools, you can find directories, right? Directories for regional coordinators, divisional directories, chapter directories. Maybe you made connected with someone in a different chapter in a different state and you want to connect with them. Maybe your officers want to do a program and you want to invite another chapter in, go to those directories to do all that. Anything related to chapter management, meaning if someone's coming on as a new advisor, we need to know that. There's a form for that, and that's where all the forms are. If your college president changes, we need to know that because we want to update that information, right? If you need to remove a student or remove an officer or report an officer, that's all of that is there. We give you a whole section on how to recruit and all the recruitment tools. Some ideas, some best practices, and then tons of other resources as well. So those advisor tools are there for you to paint the success of your chapter. We hope that you use them. I know sometimes it seems to be overwhelming to find stuff, but if you spend a couple minutes every week, you get used to it, right? And you'll be able to find those things. And one of the most important links for me was the advisor FAQ, where I was constantly going, okay, I got to upload it. I need to report a chapter officer. You only do that once a year, and I would forget from year to year. I go to that section and go, okay, here's the directions, and we would work on it that way.
Right. So thanks for all that information, Patty. Again, like Patty said, we'll be going over it a little more in detail, not just today, but later on throughout our series. We want you to be able to lead and help our members lead also. So I know we've covered a lot and we're doing it really fast because we want to be mindful of your time. But we have a lot of resources that are available for you and for our members. The first one can kind of help you get organized, and it's the activity guide for chapter leaders. So when this was developed, Patty and I were like, brilliant. Like, where was this when we were an advisor or even a regional coordinator? I look at this activity guide as a training manual or an instruction manual that's aimed at chapter officers, but also chapter leaders too. It gives instructions on hosting inductions. Team building activities are within the activity guide itself, working with administration, project management, and more. There's tons of resources that are within this activity guide. All you have to do is download it to your computer. And then when you're doing chapter officer training or when you have new members come on board, you can print this out for them and give it to them. I think it's a great resource tool that's not only, like I said, not just for chapter officers, but for chapter leaders also. I would use it for new advisors. I would give it to the administration because within the activity guide, it goes from level 1 to level 5, and we'll talk about the 5-star chapter plan, but it gives you different activities based off of that level that you can do. And the most important part is helping to build a team. So there's great team building activities within that. So, and then for our advisors, there's the advisor education course that walks you as an advisor through your role step by step. And it includes professional development topics. And then every advisor who completes the curriculum are recognized with the Advisor Edge pin and a letter to your college president. So your college president will be able to recognize you for taking the time to complete this online interactive curriculum. It's self-paced, so you don't have to wait to do it, or you don't have to do it all in one day. You can take your time with doing it. And it's just a great online tool that helps you, again, learn your role. So even though you might have been in this role for 2 years, there might be some things that you still have questions on. And this, the 5-star curriculum for advisors can really help you with that.
It does, right? And that's where you find the glossary, right? Go in there and take a look at all the terminology, and it's always accessible to you. It's always there, even if you finish the program. Level one gives you all sorts of resources as to finding your chapter members, right? Working with your college's registrar or IT. Level two is all about engaging your members and identifying officers, right? Getting those chapter officers identified. Level three, participating on a regional and international level, right? So there's all those different levels that you'll work through. Level four, developing those student leaders. It's all about engaging in chapter in society programming. And level five, supporting undergraduate research and building administrative support, because we really believe that a chapter that can build that relationship with the college's administration, that it's a relationship that they build upon and work at, it's beneficial to both, right? So take a look at the 5-star advisor curriculum. Ryan said you'll get a pin. We boast about you on Facebook once you complete it, and that letter goes to the college president. It's really a great tool. I wish it existed when I first started. There's going to be a couple of updates soon, but definitely get in there and take a look at it, and you can always go back and access it. There's stuff about how to do a chapter meeting, how to do a hybrid event, all of those things that are there. Reagan does a phenomenal job thinking about what an advisor needs to do and to feel better at it and confident. So definitely take a look at it. Is this me or you? I think it's me.
This is you, but I can do
It
it.
is? All right, I got it. So one of the things I think is really, you have to get connected, right? Stay up to date, go to the website, look at our news. It's a great way to stay up to date. It's also a great place to find examples. It's also a great place to hear inspiring stories and to share those inspiring stories, with your members. Copy that link and send it to your members and how you're communicating with them, and say, look at this. Isn't this awesome, right? Use them as an example. But it's a great place to stay up to date in the newsreel. Impact. That's
And
right.
then so preparing our students, that impact. This is what we call our self-help section. So this is where you're able to find the best resources for chapter officers and leaders to prepare them for success. It's a working knowledge, so you're going to continue. I came from a college that was learning centered, and we always talked about being a lifelong learner. So this is kind of what that is. You're going to continue to learn new things. That's going to help you in your role, but also help your students, your members in their roles. So like I said, Patty and I will talk to you a lot about the 5-star chapter plan. I just talked to you about the activity guide for chapter leaders. There's an honors program guide that has our honor study topic, which is the art and science of play. And we'll talk about that. It's based, that's where you do your honors and action project with. There are 2 publications, actually there's 3, but 2 that we have on here, which is the Change Makers, and that's a journal of student leaders. So that's based off of our chapters who are published from their college project. And then Civic Scholar is the undergraduate research journal. And so that's based off of our chapters who have completed their honors in action. And we'll talk more about that on how they get published in that. And then there's the leadership development studies. It's a course that's free to members, advisors, alumni, and you can take that right online. Again, a great, just the unit 1 is all about what is leadership and developing a leadership philosophy. So with that, I think that's a great tool to use with new teams, new chapter teams. So it's something that you can utilize for your students and for yourself too. And then professional development courses, which would be our Phi Theta, our PTK edges. So we just, there's a whole bunch here that you have at your fingertips, because it's really easy to log into ptk.org and get to all of these resources right in front of you.
Yeah, and the next time we meet, it'll be June 29th is our next new advisor session. We will have other sessions related to the other ones, the chapter advisor and leader sessions. June 8th is the next one. I think we're going to go in depth on the 5-star chapter plan. We'll give you all this information in the recap. You can join us for that. But we will talk about the 5-star chapter plan and engaging your members on June 29th with all of you. So if you want to take a look at these resources, see what you think. Don't be worried if it's like you feel like it's too much, right, or it's overwhelming. This is just, we just want to put these out here so that you can take a look, and you will see, even though this is June and we're working to get you guys feeling comfortable till the end of this year, you will hear more about these things. You'll go, oh yeah, I've seen that, I want to take a look at it. So what I want to do now, we'll take questions in a minute, but I want to new share. Hold on one second. I want to take you to the website. Ryan, is the website up? Can you see the website?
It is.
Okay. Here's the website, right? And up here, like I said, this is forward facing to potential members. There's a lot of information that is scrolling. You can see benefits and news. The news runs down at the bottom of the page, and if you scroll all the way down, I think there's some really good links that are, you want to learn more about alumni, if you want to just talk about alumni, or learn more about PTK, or find out about alumni that's there. All of our leadership connections are here, and then policies. And then if you scroll back up to the top of the page, this is where students will learn more. All right, I'm a transfer student, I'm a career tech student, what's in it for me? I'm dually enrolled, I'm a nursing student, and on and on. What are our benefits? What are the online tools that you offer? What about these professional development, the honors program, publishing, and member discounts, right? And then our events, and we have all of our international events, the link to the regional meetings. So this is really a good place to get started, but for being credentialed to be able to log in, you start here. And mine has one extra block than yours does. I'm just going to slide down. So yours more than likely is going to appear. Here's your chapter. Here's your advisor tools. And we talked about some of these today. Hey, there's that divisional map. Transfer scholarships. I love this link. This link is really a good tool. This is the best practice. Like, if students in your state want to know, well, what scholarships are offered in my state, it's just a matter of clicking that transfer scholarship search. It connects you to PTK Connect, where all of that information is, and we'll talk about that at another time. But let me say, I'm just gonna pick on Texas, I think, today, right? Because I know there's quite a few in there. You click search, it automatically generates a list of colleges in the state of Texas that offer transfer scholarship to members. Maybe that's something that you share with your members at a meeting. Like, have you seen the list? Do you want to go somewhere else? Let me look these up for you, right? They click on the actual link is there for them to click on, and they'll learn more about that Phi Theta Kappa transfer scholarship. So that directory is just, I think, phenomenal. Watch, this isn't going to, yeah, I can go backwards. Okay. This whole section here, the guide that we talked about, these are all links. We're going to talk about other resources later on in the year, but that first one to get you to the 5-star plan, that's really good. That's where you pick that up there. Some of you might see this, the new dashboard, right? Mine doesn't default to the new dashboard. So if you are not seeing this, maybe this is something that is coming your way. I'm not 100% sure. Hold on, it's taking a second. But I really like the new dashboard. I wish I had this way back when, because it's everything at your fingertips. So mine defaults to the very first chapter, alpha, 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 right? They're in Ohio, so if anybody's in from Ohio, let's talk about this one. But it's showing you right at a glance, where are you this year in your chapter's 5-star progress, right? Provides you a link to get to that, right? So to look at it. This block over here is all about your year-to-date membership comparison, right? 2020, 2021, 2022, the year's young, right? The programs that your chapter has participated in, right? Is it the scholarship program? How does that relate to how well the region's doing, and then the society? And this is a great button here, box here, because it'll take you directly to the email for your divisional specialist. It tells us who the contact advisor is for the chapter. Your regional coordinator is listed here, and also your college president. This is also really good when we talk about professional development. How well is your chapter? Is your chapter engaging in those professional development courses that will go into depth later, competitive edge, transfer edge, and so on? So I think this is what you'll be seeing in the future. And it's just going to be really an easy way to, manage all of those functions as a chapter advisor. There's the PTK Connect, the member roster, eligible students, and reports that you'll be able to run, right? So I'm going to go back out of this. I'm going to stop sharing because I'm looking at the clock and I see in 2 minutes. The last two, we'll extend it maybe 10. I will answer any questions you have. Look at all the folks that are on today. Man, it's the first time I'm seeing the full screen since we started. I'm going to take a sip of... Reagan, is there anything we need to address?
I think we have covered everything. We got the Facebook information sent out via the chat. And just to confirm, on June 29th, we're going to be talking about, is that the day you guys are going to be talking about membership and how to identify eligible members?
Yes, and we're going to,
okay.
yeah, we're going to have Candace or one of the staff members from there come in and talk to them specifically.
Perfect.
About that.
And several people asked, when I was an advisor, I did kind of create a calendar that kind of helped me be organized. I think what I'll do, Patty, is I'll just edit that because it actually has some specific names of people at the college I used to work at because I needed to know exactly who I needed to ask for different things. So I'll edit that. And Patty, I'll just send it to you and you can send it out to the whole group if you want.
Oh, thank you.
You don't have to do that
awesome,
individually.
Megan.
And so one thing that I also did there is I have a separate induction file. I have a separate file for travel, that kind of thing. And again, that's going to be different for each chapter. So you're going to have to kind of talk to your college and the financial people at your school about how travel is handled at your institution. But I will go ahead and I'll just put that information, everything I have, I will send to Patty and Patty will then forward it to you. And if you have any questions about that document or anything I have in there, please feel free to email me. Just like Patty and Ryan, I was an advisor for several years. And so it's kind of difficult when you kind of get thrown in and you don't even know who to ask about, what do I do if I need a bus or a van or something or can I even get one kind of thing to take students on a trip or whatever. So I will definitely get all that. Like I said, I need to go through it and take out some names and different stuff like that. So I'll edit that and get it to Patty so she can send it out with the recording tomorrow, Patty.
Yeah, I am traveling tomorrow, but I think I'll have time on Friday to send it out.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I can get it edited by Friday and get it to you. So,
yeah.
And again, please, if you have any questions, I am more than happy to help as well. I think all of us have that experience where we've not known what HIA meant, and you just you want to do your best by your students, and you want to make sure that you're not having them miss any opportunities. And so we would love to help you with however we can to make sure that you have the most information you can have to be of service to your students.
Well, thank you, Reagan. That is so helpful. And one of the other things I'm going to include in the recap is, I know chapter communications was something that a lot of you talked about, what are some of the best practices? I highly suggest, if there's any way, I got things right when my college allowed me to put a shell of a course in our learning management system, and I was able to run my chapter through that, right? I didn't have to have a separate set of emails. I didn't have to do mail merge. I didn't have to do all of that. If a student became a member, I added them to the class, and that's how we did, and we kept it right in there. If you don't have that ability, there's Teams, there's Google. I ran a region in the beginning of the pandemic on Google Classroom. Yes, I know it's meant for K-12, but it worked for us. That's another way that you can manage, put all of your documents somewhere and connect. connect. And the other thing that we have talked to chapter officers about, because there's been this thing, well, nobody wants to come to a meeting or our campus isn't quite open. We really have to start looking at that whole trying making it hybrid. Yes, we'll have a meeting, but we're going to make it a hybrid so we can record it and then share that recording with students that can't come on the campus because of work or whatever the case is. So, a lot of, and like I said, there's no right way, there's no wrong way. It's just whatever works for you. And the most important thing, and I am so jealous of all of you, that you get to make those connections with the students and watch them bloom with the power of Phi Theta Kappa. Honestly, I mean, if you were connected to our social media in the month of May and watching some of these students graduate and some of the things that they were saying, it's just so powerful. I get the chills already thinking about it again. So I wish I was you. I do. I know how you feel, but know that you are not alone, and we are here to help you. And no question is too little. No question's too big. Please reach out to us. That's why we're here. And so we'll include some other information that we think that'll help you. It'll probably be Friday by the time this loads and we get it uploaded and all of that. And then you're more than welcome to join us for our other sessions that we have. And we'll be doing a deep dive into the 5-star chapter plan with advisors on June 8th. So next Wednesday, is that next Wednesday? Listen, y'all, the year's half over. What happened? Me and Reagan were talking about this. What happened to this whole year? It's gone. Ryan, do you have anything you want to add? We're good.
Regina
No, we
has
do have
a hand raised.
Regina raised her hand.
Oh, okay, Regina.
Thanks. I just, Patty, when you get that information from Reagan, because I'm not the person who is down, Matthew are you going to send that to me? Because
yes, because you're registered. You registered for this. So every time, you don't ever have to register for another session. You will automatically be given this Zoom link prior to the next session, and you will automatically get everything we do, whether you wanted to attend the session, couldn't attend the session, or did attend the session. You will get it, not the contact advisor.
So the calendar and the meeting on the 8th, because Matthew's kind of off for the summer and I'm off too, but I don't really power down from PTK because
you can't
I'm on board, and I think I can get us up to 300 students this next year. So, all right, great. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. It was an honor and a pleasure. Thank you for joining us for the very first ever. If you have any feedback that you want to give us, send it all to me. You can send it to me, and we will take a look at it. So thank you very much. We wish you all the very best, and we'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.